How do you determine if something is vulgar?
I mean, vulgar, unacceptable. Because remember, there was a point in time where tattoos in corporate was a no-go.
So maybe one two step of this generation is twerking. Jay, do you remember the girl? Well, that's the girl who was twerking in the plane. Do you remember that? So a while back, in
Remember.
Alaska. Well, Nelle Diala is her name, a former Alaskan Airlines flight attendant, posted a 20-second TikTok video of herself twerking on an empty plane before her shift. And the airline fired her on the spot. No warning, no second chance, just gone. Now she's speaking out, calling it unfair, discriminatory, and a case of extreme overreaction. Their use.
She's the flight attendant whose twerking cost her dream job.
I didn't think that, being so happy can turn into something like this.
Nelle Diala was having a great time dancing and twerking in the aisle on an empty plane before an early morning flight.
I decided to just take advantage of the moment to wake myself up and kind of get myself hyped up for my day, basically.
She posted the video on TikTok along with the caption, "What's wrong with a little twerk before work?" But after the video went viral, she says Alaska Airlines fired her. What did they say to you?
They just said that I broke their social media policy.
Nelle had only been on the job for 6 months. She says she was twerking to celebrate the end of her probationary period. Why did you decide to post the video?
And I was really proud of myself that I came so far. I just didn't think that my video and my post and the way I was dancing would be deemed as inappropriate.
So how did you feel in that meeting when they told you you lost your job?
I put on such a proud face every time I stepped on that plane. And for them to terminate me without giving me a chance.
Well, I guess it hurt her. RJ.
KaiR. Is twerking, I guess this is the question, right? And guys, you need to answer this question as well. So listen to the question clearly after you've liked, subscribed, and hit the notification icon, of course. Relax, KaiR. But
I was relaxed. What are you talking about?
hey,
I was just admiring the smoothness.
You're interrupting me. So thank you, if I may. Guys, I want you to let us know. Is twerking a simple dance? Because I think if someone just, let's say, danced, did another dance and recorded it, that person may not have been removed or have been fired, from her job. Is twerking a vulgar dance, or is this just another way of expression? And is it discriminatory to fine, penalize, and fire someone because she twerked? Because KaiR, that's the question.
I have a question for you.
If twerking, so that's the question, right? Because if someone was doing like the two-step, would that person have been fired? If someone was doing the hold down, would that person have been fired? If someone was doing the hokey poke, would that person have been fired? Where do we draw the line? If someone was dancing with food that she just cooked in her hand and then turned around, is that considered vulgar? Where do we draw the line? That being said, she should have gotten sacked. That's not that. So that's but I'm just asking, where do we draw the line? And should we maybe look at this a bit differently and just see this as a form of expression and promotion for Alaska Airlines. Bet you didn't think I would take it there, but okay.
So let's start by answering the first question. Is it vulgar or not? Is it vulgar or not? How do you determine if something is vulgar?
I mean, vulgar, unacceptable. Because remember, there was a point in time where tattoos in corporate was a no-go.
So maybe 1-2 step of this generation is twerking. I guess you didn't guess. I would say that.
All right.
Maybe twerking is the 1-2 step of this generation. Shaking
Really?
your behind. One thing I do know, RG. No, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. It's gonna be very. Let's say some people might get a rock in their pants when they see people twerking. So, and no one will get that from 1-2 step. So that's a
Maybe.
big difference right
So
there.
I guess it's depending on whether people harden up or not, which determines whether it is.
I would say probably that's a vulgar dance, right? Because daggering, which what's next? That's a good question. That's a good question by you. It's a good question. Daggering because if you allow if twerking is not a vulgar dance, or let's say not a kosher dance, then the question is, where do we stop? Do we stop at daggering? Can the flight attendant and her mate, her male counterpart, start daggering up the aisle?
Dirty whining.
Dirty whining, jumping like the Jamaicans do from the top row up on her back, and continue working it.
So KaiR.
Where do we stop?
So that's something that we
That's a
also
good
need to take in.
question.
I know it is. This is like a typical lawyer question, right? Where do we draw the line? But another thing that we need to take into account is the following. Was she fired because she twerked? Or was she fired because she was recording and she wasn't allowed to record? Or at least record and post? Because we know what the media is saying.
Yeah, they're using the word. How do they say it? They say
Inappropriate?
their social media policy. She didn't abide by their social media policy, violating it.
So then
So I don't know. The question is, what is the policy? If the policy is no shaking the tuntun.
If I'd had to guess, I'd say that twerking wasn't explicitly mentioned as such, but there's and that's what I said. It's like, and so it's a contractual infringement, and then you fire.
Yeah. I think it's very interesting that she decided to twerk. That's another aspect into this as well, right? She decided to start twerking after her period of how do you say that? How do they call it? They gave it a name. Trial, yeah. Her trial period. After. She didn't do it during her period. Maybe she thought it was safe to do it then, because they're not gonna fire me.
Yeah. Usually that's how antiviruses work as well. It's after the trial period that they start effing up. They start slowing down your computer, doing all sorts of things, man. Then you think to yourself, I think the virus is better. The virus is better than the antivirus. It's like, at least I don't know it's there.
Yeah.
So,
but it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I think if you look at this whole thing, she also went to GoFundMe. She raised 3,300. So I don't know who gave her that money, but hey, maybe you're right, Archie. Maybe, and I'm gonna answer your last question because you answered you asked two questions. Is it inappropriate, or should Alaska Airlines see this as promotion and actually have a couple of chicks that are exotic looking, that are attractive, shake the tun for promotion to fly to Alaska? Because who's flying to Alaska?
I was about to say that as well, right? The population is less than 750,000. Yeah, less than 750,000. So
It's
people
more
might
than,
want to stay warm. What did you say?
no, continue.
People might want to stay warm. So, and that's pretty interesting about the US. It's a very, very massive country with 50 states, pardon me. But then a bunch of people live in the, I think 80% live in the eastern.
51 in the future. Let's
What?
talk like we're in the future. 51 in the future.
So you're talking about, of course, you're talking about Greenland. Because we also have Canadian fans, man. What the hell is wrong with you, man?
That's 52. I don't know if they will. I think Greenland will abide before Canada will. But okay. Continue,
Well,
continue.
I saw a documentary about this, and apparently US was contemplating even so years ago to get Greenland because they would want Canada as well. And if they can get Greenland, then they have Alaska on the west and Greenland.
Squeeze them in.
Squeeze them in, yeah.
Squeeze them in. That's what they say when they see people twerking as well. Squeeze your face in.
Yeah, but so like 80% of US citizens live on the eastern side. And then I believe 9% live in California, which means the remaining 11% live scattered in the west.
In the middle.
And so a couple of them, less than 750, live in Alaska. So I think, but that's not Alaska Airlines. So I guess I think Alaska Airlines has more routes. But I don't think this type of promotion will hurt Alaska Airlines because, hey,
I might want to fly and see some twerking ass chicks. You know, hey, RJ, we all know there are some men with a lot of horns on their head. They call them horny. These guys will take a flight just to see a chick.